Good morning and welcome to Philosophy 1301, Introduction to Philosophy. I hope you're in the right class. This is not supposed to be psychology or sociology. It is philosophy, so make sure that you are in the right class. I want to introduce myself today. I am Dr. Ford. I am the department chair and also professor of philosophy for the Navarre College system. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about right now my family and also myself to give you some context as we go through the rest of the semester. This will be especially important as I actually give you some stories about myself and my family. Again, you'll have some context, and these stories will help you understand more of the themes and issues we'll be dealing with here in philosophy. Here's a picture of my wife and me. And I will tell you right now, I struck the mother lode when it came to wives. I have a wonderful wife. She's beautiful, and she is a wonderful wife to me and a wonderful mother to her children. Some of you may have already met her. She actually works in the financial aid department here at Navarre College. Let me say something very quickly to those of you who do seek for financial aid. You can really make it easy on yourself if you get all your paperwork in on time if you're looking for financial aid. Although she would love to help everybody the moment they turn in their paperwork, give them the money they've requested, she cannot because of federal government regulations and their guidelines. So although she'd love to give you the money immediately from the government has a lot of hoops you got to jump through in order to get that money. So please always get that money in, get your information in on time so she can get the money to you as quickly as possible. Again, she's a wonderful wife to me, a wonderful mother to her children. Now here's a picture of my family and me, okay? You've already been introduced to my wife. Here on the right-hand side is my son. I'm very proud of my son. He graduated as valedictorian from Corsicana High School here in Corsicana. Later, he was recruited by Baylor University to go and be on their debate team. His senior year, he was one of the top 4 debaters for Baylor University. This is a real honor because Baylor is always listed in one of the top 20 schools in the nation in debates, so very proud of him. After he graduated from Baylor University, got a degree in economics from Baylor, he went on and got his Master of Science in Analytics from North Carolina State University. This is one of the top programs in the world when it comes to analytics. Now, here's just a word of advice to those of you who like mathematics. Master of Science in Analytics is a great course to get your master's in. The reason is this course actually, the degree will actually help you be hired by these major corporations, and they will then use you to help save them millions of dollars. Right now, he is a senior science data analyst from working at NRG. You've heard of NRG Stadium. He works there. To the far right is a picture of my daughter-in-law. He met my daughter-in-law, my son did, there at Baylor University. She's actually one of the top female debaters in the history of Baylor University, and she has the distinction, along with her partner, of defeating the #1 team in the world from Great Britain. I was there that time when they did it. It was an amazing feat. And I'll tell you later how they actually defeated that team. And it's something, a trick of the trade, I will show you. I want to tell you right now, they were losing. It's hard to beat Great Britain. Great Britain, they're incredible speakers, but they did something. And my daughter-in-law and her partner caught them, and they were able to expose their fallacies, and they defeated them. So therefore, I'm going to give you some information about that later, how you too can probably defeat the #1 team in the world in debate. My wife is holding our grandson, Teddy. He is the joy of our lives. We're about to have his 3rd birthday party. But anyway, that's our son, Teddy. To the left is my daughter, Molly. as good as a debater as my son and wife, daughter-in-law are. My daughter's even better. She has the distinction she was voted number 2 speaker at a national debate camp there in Missouri, and we're very proud of her right now. She is working as a cyber analyst, cybersecurity analyst for a major corporation, and doing extremely well. We're very, very proud of them. Okay, let me give you a little information about my educational background. Again, this will help you understand where I'm coming from. And I always want to make sure you know that you're not responsible ever to agree with everything or anything I say in this class. That's not important. The important thing is that you just be able to defend your claims. I mean, whether you do or not, that's fine, but you may be challenged on some of the claims you make in this class. But also just always make sure you show respect and you do your work, and you'll do great in this class. But I'm going to give you a little information about myself, my educational background. First of all, I majored in science. I have a Bachelor of Science from the University of Texas in Austin. My favorite subjects was really just chemistry on French, but chemistry. University of Texas is ranked in the top 25 schools in the world in chemistry. I really loved it there. You go, well, Dr. Ford, why are you teaching philosophy if you majored in science at University of Texas? Well, you'll find out later the reason I teach philosophy, but I'm glad I studied science at the University of Texas. The reason is that today there are many scientists who are experts in their fields, and on the basis of their being an expert in science, they then come out and make all these claims about philosophy. Well, it's good to be able to know about science if they're going to make these claims in philosophy. So therefore, I'm very excited about that. And you'll find later on that actually the first philosophers were scientists. And there's been a kind of a healthy relationship between science and philosophy. We'll talk about that more later. After that, I went to Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth. And there I got my master's there in divinity. And while I was there, I studied under a man by the name of Yandel Woodfin in the area of philosophy. He had his bachelor's from Baylor University, his master's from Princeton University, and studied under Emile Caillet, one of the great philosophers of the 20th century, and then later on went to University of Edinburgh and received his PhD there, his doctorate there. Later on, he went to Cambridge University there in England. It's one of the top universities in the world. He studied with somebody, and I'll tell you about that person later, and that person has had a major impact upon my life. Also, I studied with Baylor University. I've also studied at Cambridge University and also with Oxford University. In fact, I took this very course, Introduction to Philosophy, at Oxford University, and I hope that what I learned there will benefit you as well. Now, I told you that my mentor, Yandel Woodfin, went and studied at Cambridge University. The reason he went there is that there was a man there by the name of C.S. Lewis. Many of you have heard about C.S. Lewis. Well, I can tell you that many times people do not know enough about C.S. Lewis. Most people have heard of him only about the fact that he wrote the books called the Chronicles of Narnia. Okay, these are children's stories, and he is a Christian, and he uses these to promote Christian themes and also Christian philosophy. C.S. Lewis, though, is much greater than just being the author of children's books. He had 3 degrees from Oxford University, one of the top universities in the world. Normally, when you get your bachelor's degree, and many of you are now trying to get your degree, your bachelor's degree, it takes you 4 to 5 years. C.S. Lewis got 3 bachelor's degrees from Oxford University. And in all 3 degrees, he received what you'd call a 4.0 summa cum laude. He got all 3 degrees in 5 years, and that is amazing. His first degree was actually in philosophy. His second degree was in ancient cultures and history. His last degree was in medieval literature. All three of these degrees are very important for philosophy, and we'll see later how these impact our understanding of philosophy. He's probably one of the greatest minds of at least the last 100 years, if not the last 800 years. Now, again, I've been heavily influenced by C.S. Lewis. But again, that does not mean that you have to agree with me or agree with Lewis. But again, as long as you do your work and you show respect in class, you'll do fine in this class. So anyway, I just want to give you some information about my background. Now let's look at the required textbook for the course. It is called From Plato to Plantinga, An Introduction to Philosophy. Okay, this is a required textbook. You will need it as you come to class, especially as we do these quizzes, because all these quizzes will be open book quizzes and you will definitely want to have a book for these quizzes. Now, you can purchase this book there downstairs in the bookstore, or you can also purchase it, go to the Nevada College bookstore app and purchase it from Amazon through using that app. Please use that app. The reason we ask you to use the app is that it benefits the bookstore. And again, when the bookstore makes more money, it helps keep tuition costs down. So please make sure that whenever you buy books, if you do not buy them directly from the bookstore, you use the app. This way, again, the bookstore gets money from Amazon or whatever, and also it helps keep tuition costs down. Now, normally I would take attendance as everybody came into the classroom. I'm not going to do that. Instead, what we'll be doing is we'll be taking attendance based on the number of assignments that each student completes. For example, there'll be 16 major assignments or quizzes based on the book. And again, these quizzes will be open book. We'll be taking them at the beginning of the class. We'll talk about them more later. Now, notice that these assignments can only be taken during class time. So therefore, if you miss class, you miss an assignment. All right, now there'll be some leeway given for those who may be affected by COVID-19, or if there's, for example, a death in family, whatever, but those are very rare exceptions, okay? But these assignments and these quizzes can only be done in class. In fact, they'll be done early in the class, so make sure you're here on this time. And that's the way we'll be taking attendance in this class. Now again, we are looking at a very unusual time in the history of education, which basically we have a pandemic going on. It's occurred before in the past, not very often. We have a pandemic going on, and so therefore we're making some arrangements to adjust to this time. Now each of you will have an option. Okay, there are two options you have here. One is this. You can either meet with me weekly, all right, and you'll be only meeting once a week, all right? Well, on Mondays, we'll set that time. On Mondays, you'll be meeting with me. Now, at that time, again, you'll be taking the quiz, and then we'll be discussing and talking about the major topics as we go through the course of the semester. You can do that. But because this is a hybrid class, and the college has made known that in a hybrid class, you only have to do 50% of the time in class during this time of COVID-19. You also have the option to meet with me only 5 times during the semester. Today is one of those 5 times. You have to meet, therefore, also 4 other times through the course of the semester, and I would set those dates. Those dates are not going to be fluid. And I'll give you plenty of time in advance to know what those dates are, and you'll expect to be there. So you can either meet with me weekly, talking about 15 times during the course of the semester, or you can meet only 5 times. But let me tell you this. At the beginning of each class period, when we meet weekly, we'll be doing a quiz, open book quiz, okay? So you have 1 or 2 at the most due each week. On the other hand, if you meet with me only 5 times in the course of the semester, you'll be doing about 4 to 5 quizzes during each class period, because these assignments can only be done in class. Okay, I want to make sure that you are doing them. Nobody else is doing them. And that's going to be a little more stressful, but that's up to you. Again, You will not have time then to discuss major issues. You can talk to me during my office hours if you've got some problems like that. But when it's all said and done, these will be times, those 5 times will be only really for focusing on doing those quizzes, those assignments. Again, weekly or 5 times during the semester. Okay, so your question you have to answer is, which one are you going to be choosing? Meeting weekly or 5 times during the course of the semester? My advice is that you meet with me weekly. It'd be easier on me if you met just once every 5 times during the course of the semester. But this is not about me. This is about you, and I want to do what's best for you, and I'm giving you that option, since apparently that's the way some hybrid courses can be structured. Now, let me tell you this. If you choose to meet with me weekly, you need to be here on time. The quizzes we take will be done during the first 10 minutes of class. After that, we'll be shut down because we need to spend time talking about some major issues here. I'll be training you how to think logically, how to construct arguments, and then we'll be looking at these major issues in philosophy on ethics, on does God exist, etc., and we'll be looking at them logically. So therefore, we don't have time to be opening up these quizzes for 30, 40 minutes. We'll get nothing accomplished. So please, for your time, be of sake again, remember that your attendance will be based upon these assignments being done. So therefore, make sure you're here on time. Now, not including absences, note that I will not drop a student from the class unless several things. First of all, if you request it, then I will drop you. Also, if I send you 2 emails or 2 notifications about disruptive behavior in class, then I will drop you. For example, talking during class. When I talk, you're not supposed to talk. When it's all said and done, we're going to show each other respect. We'll talk about it more later. But for example, if there's some kind of behavior that's disruptive, I'll let you know about that. I'll hopefully just give you a verbal warning, but if you start getting emails, you know that things are getting serious. So if you get 2 emails from me, you'll be dropped from the class. Also, if you miss 2 consecutive weeks of assignments, this can lead to being dropped from the class. Not necessarily, but it can lead to being dropped from the class. Next, make sure that we're using our cell phones only to do the assignments in class. Okay, if you're doing those assignments, you can use your cell phone or use your laptop, but not both. All other equipment must be put away. This is not a time for conversations on your cell phone. When it's all said and done, we'll be putting them away because we need to concentrate on the material at hand. Again, I'm only meeting with you at the most 15 times, 16 times during the course of the semester. We need to make the most of these times. We do have cell phone policies. First of all is this. When I start class, everybody needs to put their cell phones away. Turn them off and put them away. Now, if a student is on the cell phone texting their class, they'll first get a written email warning from me as the instructor. Next time that student is on the cell phone, I'll give them an email and they will have to meet with the dean before they can return to class. The third time they get an email from me about these cell phones, that student will be dropped from the class. Now please do this. Explain to your parents that they are not to call or text during class times. Now they can call and they can leave you a message. Please make sure the ringer's off, but you're not to answer those cell phones. All right, you're not supposed to talk on them. You're not supposed to text back to them. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is my time. All right. We find out that the average amount of time students spend on cell phones in classes is like 30, 40, 50%. They're not learning. They're not learning, okay? Please ask your parents not to text you or call you, but if they do, let it go to voicemail and then respond to those texts later, okay? Make sure you honor this. They go, well, it's an emergency. If it is an emergency, then your parents, according to the school policy, are to call the administration. If it is a true emergency, the parents will be honored, their request will be honored, and someone from administration will come up and get you out of class and inform you. That's the way we do or deal with real emergencies. So make sure, again, that you do not answer those cell phone calls. If there's an emergency, have your parents or whatever call the administration and they'll come and get you out of class if it is truly an emergency. Now note, we only want just the cell phone you'll be doing for assignments or the laptop on your desk. Please put other items away, backpacks, right? These many times are used as shields so that students can text and not be noticed. Please put those underneath your seat. Give plenty of room since only one seat per table. Also, there's no working on other assignments from other classes during class time. That is not allowed. A student can be counted absent for the day if they work on other assignments during the time because they're not present in philosophy class. They're actually present in another class. All right, underwear is no longer a problem. I've not seen any of those issues. I don't want to see them exposed. This is an educational institution of higher learning, and we're expected to conduct ourselves in that manner. And shorts that are way too short, exposing underwear is just, they send out the wrong signal, and we don't want to do that. We want to concentrate on learning this semester. Next is this, class conduct. We will show respect in this class. Why are we showing respect? Why do I demand that? Well, every claim I make in this class can be challenged. It sure can. And you're free to challenge it. Now, this one you cannot challenge until later on in the course of the semester. You'll see the reason why. It's basically, there's something I believe thoroughly. I believe about you and me. I think you're so valuable. I think I'm valuable. I think we're also valuable. And therefore, if something is valuable, we respect it. So therefore, we will show each other respect in class. How do we show respect? First of all, when I speak, you don't speak. Okay, you give me the floor. When you speak, you have the floor, we are going to give you respect. And I mean this, respect. I've had students before start laughing at other students during class for some comments they were making. Some students go, okay, Dr. Ford, this is true about him. He's a believer in God. He's a Christian. He's a Roman Catholic. So therefore we can make fun of other religions. Don't do that. Don't do that. It will not be tolerated. I don't get very angry in class in times, but that's something that can really ignite a spark in me, and it won't be pretty. So please, we're going to respect each other. All talking must be related to class discussion, and make sure when you talk in class that you're talking loud enough so everybody in the class can hear you, especially with his mask on. Please say yes or no, not yeah or no. That is just very rude, and you need to learn how to be a respectful person. It will help you later on as you go through life, especially as you're in a work environment. Please always respect each other as well. Now, why these restrictions? Why am I having all these guidelines for class conduct being presented to you? First of all, these will help you learn. Okay, if we follow these, we're creating a better learning environment. And I want you to learn. Why? Because of three different groups in society. First of all, society itself. Society honors education. They honor it so much that they spend billions of dollars of hard-earned tax money that they pay the federal government to give you a learning experience, an education, a better educational experience. Now, many times we gripe about paying taxes, for this, for that, but very seldom do we ever gripe about paying taxes. We work hard and we pay taxes so you can learn here. Their taxes help keep the cost of education down. If it were not for these taxes, ladies and gentlemen, most of you could not be in this class because education would be so very, very expensive. So we need to honor that farmer who's out there working hard, sun up, sun down, paying taxes, and he's glad to do so to help you get an education. Let's honor them. Also your parents. Your parents are so proud of you that you're in college. Unfortunately, many of you have parents like one of my parents was. They never said anything about how proud they were that I was in college. I know they were proud because I would hear stories later from some of their friends saying how my dad would brag on me, saying my son is going to the University of Texas. He was so proud I was a Longhorn. Okay? They're proud of you, and I can guarantee you that in about 2 years, when you walk across that stage, your parents will just be screaming and be so happy and just shouting that you graduated. They're so proud of you. Please, let's not disappoint those parents. So please, let's help create a great learning environment here so you can learn. You can just honor your parents and honor society as a whole, but also for you as well. First of all, degrees do help you get a better job. The better the degree, the better job you can get. Now, you can get some really good jobs also in the trade system. That's great. But if you don't go in a good trade, education is the way to go. And I want you to succeed. That's the reason I teach. It's not for me, it is for you. So please, for your own sake, learn these skills. Learn this material. We're actually dealing with some of the great issues in all of life. And I want you to be able to process these, not only to get better jobs, but also just to experience a fuller life because of your education. Also, one other thing, if you are an athlete in football, volleyball, soccer, basketball, cheerleading, baseball, softball, I expect a lot from you in this class. Why? First of all, is that in society today, athletes are looked up as leaders, okay? And therefore, your leadership is going to help determine whether this is a positive learning experience or a negative learning experience. I will tell you some of the best students I've ever had in my class were athletes. I can also tell you that some of the worst students I've ever had in my class were athletes. That's not acceptable anymore. No. I expect y'all to lead the way. I expect you to show the greatest amount of respect in the class, whether you're in football, volleyball, cheerleading, whatever. I expect you to help set the tone, a positive tone to have a positive learning experience. First of all, your leaders. Number two is this, is that look at the students around you who are not in athletics. Many of them are paying out of pocket for their education. They're paying higher tuitions and paying for higher book fees because these fees and this higher tuition goes in to help pay for the scholarships that many of you are enjoying. We need to honor those students who are paying more so you can come here and enjoy an athletic scholarship. So please, let's show your fellow students respect by helping create a positive learning experience in this class. Okay, let's go now to the course syllabus. If you go to Canvas, don't do it right now, but because you're taking the quiz, go to Canvas, and when you click on Canvas, you're going to see basically your courses. Click on it, and then you click on this course, Philosophy 1301, go up to the very top, it should say Course Syllabus. Click on it, and when you do, you will see then the course syllabus we have here. For example, to show Introduction to Philosophy 1301, it'll give you some contact information about me, your professor, phone number. Right here, you're seeing the phone number where my office is, and also my office hours, okay? I'll be in my office every morning from 9 o'clock to 10:50, about 15 minutes on Wednesdays and Thursdays after 1:45, and also on Friday from 9 o'clock to 11:10. Those will be virtual hours on Friday, so you'll be able to call me. If we need to Zoom, we can also Zoom as well, if that will help you. Okay, if you keep on going down, though, you'll see objectives, outcomes, things you may or may not be interested in. Again, here is required and optional materials for the course. Again, it's from Plato to Plantinga, Introduction to Philosophy. That is going to be your textbook. Now, many of you are wanting to know specifically about how I'll be grading, what kind of assessments we'll be doing in this class. First of all is this, there will be a debate. This will be a group debate since we are a face-to-face class. You'll be broken up into groups, and I'll be giving your debate assignments later. You'll be debating on 1 of 4 topics, okay? Also, that's going to count 15% of your grade. After that is going to be a project that focuses on ethics in action. Now, what kind of project are we looking at? First of all, it can be an individual project or you can do a group project. That's up to you, but if you do a group project, everybody in the group must participate. Okay, we'll talk about this later, but for example, a project may be this. You go to a local park or go to the roadside and you pick up trash and throw the trash away. You can go work for 2 hours at a food pantry, either in town, here in Corsicana, or maybe back in your hometown, okay, if you go away for the weekends. You can also help raise funds to support the lepers that we know some lepers in a leper colony in India. This used to be mandatory for everyone, but because of COVID, we had to pull back on this. But if you can raise funds, and if everybody raised $10, if that person raised $10, then we'll contribute that to the leper colony, and that will be another project that people can do. So there's a list of others you may be interested in. If you have your own idea, please come to tell me, and we'll talk about it. And if it's good, I'll prove it, and you can use that for your project. Now, let me tell you this. There must be some kind of artifact, some kind of proof that you've actually done these things. For example, if you go pick up trash in the park, take a picture of you doing this, take a little video, whatever. You'll need to upload this on the link here on Canvas. I need documentation. If you go help at a food pantry, please make sure you have documentation from the people there that you work for the 2 hours, whatever. Okay. Quizzes that we'll be taking class, there will be worth 40%. Okay. Again, those who meet weekly with me will do 1 to 2 every week. I'll give you advance notice what the quizzes are. There'll be a midterm exam in the middle of the semester worth 15%, and a final exam worth 15% for a total of 100%. Now, everyone, please pay close attention. To get an A in this class, you have to do something extra. First of all, you must have a 90% overall grade average in the class in order to get an A in the class. Okay? That's standard. But you must also then write a 6-page paper on ultimate reality. You must make at least an A- on that paper. To get an A in the class, you must have a 90% plus overall grade average plus an A-, at least an A- on that paper. You go, well, I don't know what ultimate reality is about. Well, that's okay. You're here to learn, and you'll learn it, and it'll be no problem by the time it comes to write the paper. Now you go, well, why do I have to write this paper? Okay, I'm being very easy on you in this class. The way we're assessing it, open book quizzes, projects, okay, midterm, final is pretty hard, but it's pretty easy, okay? No reason why you should not pass this class. Show up, do your work, good attitude, you'll be fine. But most philosophy classes are not doing philosophy or assessing information the way we are. Instead, what you do is you research and write papers. Debate, write papers. 3 to 4 papers every semester. Well, and some of them are quite long. Well, I'm not going to do that to you, okay? Many people in the class are not good writers. It doesn't mean that they don't have knowledge. It means they're not good writers. So therefore, there's other ways to find out how much you know without making you write papers. But in honor of the fact that this is a philosophy class, and that if you're to any other school and took philosophy, you'd be writing papers. In order to get an A, you must write that paper. Not only must it be good in content, it must also be good in grammar and also on formatting. We'll talk about that more later. I'm going to provide you a lot of helps But again, to make an A in the class, you must have a 90% overall grade average and also at least an A minus on the paper. Again, I want to thank you for choosing to be in this class. I think you have a wonderful semester. I really do. At the end of the semester, we do student evaluations, and the philosophy classes normally get like a 95% approval rating. It's not an A plus, but it's not an A minus, it's an A. That's great. We're dealing with some of the greatest issues in life that will impact you for the rest of your life. So please, I hope you'll come, be open, and just show respect and engage, and let's have a wonderful, wonderful semester.